The big question pre-season was Salah or Haaland. Maybe we have the answer. And it was both. Welcome back to another video. Hope you guys are good and you've enjoyed Game Week 1. We are looking ahead to Game Week 2. These are my early thoughts. Now, in today's video, we're going to talk about Erling Haaland. This isn't a question of if, it's when. I'm sure not just for me, but for you guys as well. But I want to just talk about my Game Week so far and tell you a little bit about my watch list and the players I'm looking at buying. Haaland is, of course, one of them. So, look, we shouldn't read too much into Game Week 1. Of course, you want to get off to a fast start. I'm fairly happy with Dewsbury Hall to play in 51 points. Muñoz's 5 points on the bench was annoying. I was always between him and Dewsbury Hall for a place on the bench. Double Forest clean sheet wipeout late on to a silly penalty was so frustrating. But loads of you will be in the same boat there, and you'll have double Forest defence. Cleans from Sanchez and Pedro Porro. Salah doing what he does. Wirtz, I'm not too worried about, but Reijnders, will talk about him. Just if you don't own him, I feel like he's someone you should be buying this week. And then the Chelsea lads blanking up top with Ollie Watkins. But it is what it is, as they say. And I'm fairly confident moving forward with this squad. Guys, if you want to show some support, hit the like button. But also, please do subscribe to the channel. Loads of you have subscribed recently, and I really appreciate that. So look, we're going to move on and talk about my watch list. Now, here are some players that I'm really interested in. And we'll work through them one by one, and I'll come back to this. But I want to start with Man City assets. You'll see Ait Nouri and Haaland on this list. Now, Ait Nouri was the player that I was always really, really torn on, right? I have 0.5 million in the bank, and I have 5.5 million defenders. I have Pedro Porro, I have Murillo, and I have Muñoz. And pre-deadline, I considered buying Ait Nouri. The reason I didn't buy him with my 0.5, we knew Guardiola was out. We knew Ait Nouri was great. The reason I didn't go there was I didn't know which one I wanted to sell. And I still don't know which one I want to sell. Muñoz is my boy. He was a lock early on. Murillo is there as a long-term hold for DEFCON. And Pedro Porro just showed me in the European Cup Super Final that when they're playing five at the back, he's so dangerous in open play, but also the set-piece threat that Spurs now have with him on all the set pieces. So Ait Nouri is still massively front of mind. And when we look at the Man City fixtures, I see clean sheets, but I see loads of goals. Now, Tottenham, Brighton, Man United, Arsenal, and Burnley up next. It's that game week 6 for Burnley where we're all going to want Ait Nouri and Haaland in our team. And I've got to get a plan to get to those players by then. Now, when we look at City from the weekend just gone, and if you watch my Sunday debrief shows, guys, you'll see a lot of these maps on my Sunday debriefs. At risk of repeating myself, for those that watched my Sunday morning stream, Rayan Ait Nouri, when he's got a Doku in front of him, and when Pep goes for out-and-out wingers in Bob and Doku, it's going to be wide forwards, and the fullbacks will be restricted. Ait Nouri will have to defend lots, and whoever's the right back, in this case, Rico Lewis, will invert. There will be a lot of other games where Pep plays a Marmoush, a Cherki, a Foden, inside forwards on the flanks. Bernardo Silva's played a lot of times out on the right-hand side. When he does that, the expectation is for the fullbacks to overlap. Ait Nouri's position won't be there. It'll be much, much higher. Rico Lewis won't be inverted. It'll probably be Mateus Nunes, right wing. We'll see that a ton. I wouldn't be surprised if we see it next week. My point here is, Rayan Ait Nouri, when he plays deeper, DEFCON, he picked DEFCON yesterday, like 15, I think it was. Tackles, interceptions, blocks, clearances. Amazing. And he'll get that when he's deeper. He also therefore got bonus points. He got bonus points. So he got 3 extras. He effectively picked up an assist. Now, when he's playing high and wide, he won't get all the DEFCON, but he will get assists and goals. There's a lot to like about Rayan Ait Nouri. He's so versatile. Pep has shown he's going to be absolutely first choice. We saw it in the Club World Cup. We've seen it now. We've seen the money they've spent on him. Ait Nouri is still high on my wish list. And Pedro Porro maybe doesn't need to stay in this team for too long. I don't know. I like Pedro Porro very much. And Spurs are going to keep more clean sheets. It's a tough one. I think I've just probably made my bed, but let's see where I go with it. Tijjani Reijnders needs to be discussed, and then we're going to get to Haaland in a minute. If you don't have Reijnders in your team, consider buying him. He's going to go up in price probably twice this week. I know loads of you guys already own him, so I'm preaching to converted. I'd like to think those that watch my channel, there's a high percentage of you that own him because I've banged the drum for so long. I told you he was a lock in my team 10 days ago. absolutely so happy with that pick, and I'm so glad I've convinced so many of you to pick him. Many will complain that he didn't get bonus points. He got a goal and an assist. On my stream this morning, Mark Southerns did comment, and Mark is the founder of Fantasy Football Scout. Mark works with the Premier League. He effectively runs the game. Mark said he lost 14 bonus points. We knew about the fact that he conceded fouls and he got yellow carded and he missed some chances, but he got tackled loads. And I forgot that was part of the BPS. So he was down 14 in the BPS, which is why he fell just short of Ait Nouri and whoever got second, I can't remember. So that's where we're at with Reijnders. But we need to talk about the big man. Erling Haaland. Should he be in your squad? And do you need to move mountains to get him? This was last season. He got a 7 and back-to-back 17s, 13s and 19s. We've been here before with Salah versus Haaland versus both. Remember? Those that had both last year smashed it early doors. Are there good enough enablers in this game to pick both? Yeah. Tijjani Reijnders, Elliot Anderson, there's 2 midfielders straight away. There's cheap forwards that look quite good. Strand Larsen, I still feel like will be a good pick. Igor Thiago at 5.5 million scored this weekend. He's on pens for Brentford. There are good, cheap players that allow you to pick both of them. And I'm wondering if I've made an error here. Because if Haaland starts a season like this, from game week 2 onwards, continues this set of form, we're all going to wish we had him. Now, his ownership is low. 24%. I saw this from Fantasy Football Edits. 2 goals from 6 shots. He only had like 12 touches in the game. 6 shots, I think he had. Bonus points 3, 2 off target. He still clocked an XG of 2.01. Yes, his goal was high XG, but his second goal was low XG. He's getting XG. He's missing big chances. He's getting big chances. He's scoring big chances. City look good. And when City are firing, you want their main man. This is a real tempter, guys. I'm going to show you in a minute how I can get to Haaland in my team. Of course, it requires surgery. And I don't want to knee-jerk, but it's worth consideration. So look, Haaland's, we always knew he was going to score, and nothing should change. We shouldn't knee-jerk too much and see someone scoring points and go, I need to get him in my team. We always knew, those backing against Haaland, like myself, we always knew points were going to be up for grabs. We always knew we were going to miss points. It was, is he going to justify the price tag? And for me, I was very skeptical. But the more we see City, and it's still early doors, they look like the City of old. And when if you get the City of old, not the City from last year, the City from 2 years ago, from 3 years ago, when Haaland puts up insane numbers, that's the City we want. And if we are on that City, we're foolish not having Haaland. The fixtures for Man City and Haaland goals. Do we see Erling Haaland getting... And I feel like at 40 million, we need to be able to see double returns. We need to see 2 attacking involvements a game. 2 goals, a goal and assist, whatever. Against Spurs, yes. Brighton away, that's a tough fixture. United at home, anything can happen, but you fancy him. Arsenal away, tough. But Burnley in game week 6, he'll be in my team one way, shape or form. I could free hit in game week 6. I could have a plan to have 3 transfers and get Haaland and Ait Nouri in my team. Let's see where we get to. We'll move away from Erling Haaland, I think, because it's good to see and discuss Haaland, and we'll come back to him at the end of the show when I talk about how I could get him in my team. Guys, if you're enjoying the video, I think I've said it, but hit the like button. Please do subscribe to the channel. If you've got a question, drop a comment, and I will be right back at you with a response to that question. So look, I want to touch on a couple of other players. O'Reilly was brilliant, and he's on pens for Brighton, so I've put him on my watch list, but Kudus and Anderson are the 2 I'm most interested in. The problem is I've got Reijnders, and I've not got a huge amount of money to go up from a Dewsbury Hall. So an Anderson or a Kudus would be hard for me to reach, but they are both of high interest to me. And this is why. Firstly, look at the fixture difficulty rater. Forest is halfway up. I like those Forest fixtures. Palace, West Ham, Arsenal, Burnley and Sunderland. I think that's a good run. And then Tottenham for Kudus. It's Man City, Bournemouth, West Ham, Brighton and Wolves. This is filtered by difficulty in the next 5 game weeks. Elliot Anderson ran the game. I spoke to Mark, who was at the game. Mark Southerns. And on the train back, he just like, he's just amazing. Like, ran the game. He picked up an assist. He was so close to DEFCON, but he also, I think, picked up a bonus point. Elliot Anderson's going to be a great pick at 5.5 million. And I can get there from Dewsbury Hall. I have 0.5 in the bank, remember. Kudus is just unbelievable. Like, we know that from Kudus. I don't know if I've got the Kudus map here. He's Thomas Frank's and Burmo. Thomas Frank plays a 4-3-3 with a Burmo on the right wing. this is what he did yesterday. And the number 9 dropped short, and it's all about Brennan. It's all about Kudus to wide men. That could be Eze, Brennan, right? When he plays 3-5-2, he plays Kudus central down the middle. He did the same with Mbermo. He did it against PSG, and he'll do it against Man City. At 6.5 million, Kudus is firmly on my radar, and I want him in my team, but you can't have them all. This is a game of compromise. At the moment, I'm not going to rip up my team to get Kudus and Elliot Anderson in. But of course, add them to your watch list and think about them. And that's completely fine. So Elliot Anderson, yes. Kudus, yes. In terms of Forest, by the way, those that had double Forest clean sheet, wipe out. Take that penalty out of this between the post chart and 0.78 XG. Brentford didn't have a sniff. Forest should have kept a clean sheet, and those that had double defence, we were pretty unlucky. It would have had about 0.6 XG. Bad. Brentford are bad. Now that brings me to captaincy next week, because who plays Brentford next week? Ollie Watkins. Now Villa were bad too, but I fancy Ollie Watkins versus Brentford. And I did an early thoughts. Now, if you own an Arsenal attacker, Saka, or even Gyökeres, but Saka definitely, you're going to captain him. Now, most don't own an Arsenal attacker, so I haven't included them in the poll because everyone would just vote your Arsenal attacker. But where are people going with the armband? It's a completely split pot. There's interest in Watkins. There's interest in Salah and Palmer. All three have got away fixtures. Salah's got the most tricky fixture, but he's the best FPL asset. Palmer goes to West Ham, and you never quite know what you're going to get. And so many have João Pedro too. And then maybe they'll feel like they're eggs in baskets on Palmer. And Watkins goes to Brentford in probably the best fixture matchup of the three. Now, if you own Erling Haaland, I think you captain him. The problem is, not many own him, so he's out at 26%. As things stand, most are still going to Salah, but it's a split pot, and I'm really interested in discussing this further when I do my team selection later in the week. We'll see where I land. As things stand, honestly, I'm like 33 on the three of them. I don't know where. Do you know what? I'm probably 35, 30. 35 Watkins, 35 Palmer, 30 Salah. At the moment, I am team Watkins and Salah, just. Let's see how the week pans out. If you have Haaland in your team, though, another reason to buy him this week is like, yeah, you're captain versus Spurs. I'm sure you would, because he's at home as well. And we love a home captain. So, look, this is my bus team. And we call it a bus team because it's, in case you get run over by a bus, your team is set. No. As things stand, forget armband for a minute. We'll talk about how I could get Haaland in, but I do have some benching headaches. We'll come back to the benching headaches. How do you get Erling Haaland in this team? Well, it's huge compromise. The likes of Palmer and Watkins, two captain options next week, would have to come out. But I got the money to do it, right? You sell a Watkins and a Palmer, and you bring in a Haaland and an Elliot Anderson, or for some, a Haaland and a Reijnders. Could go there. I'm not going to do it this week because it's -4. But there will be managers doing it. And I don't think it's a bad move. And maybe as the week goes on, my mind changes. As things stand, I'm like 20% likely to do this. It's just unlikely to happen. But to get Haaland in your team, you're going to have to sell a big gun or two big guns, in this case, two. He's that much more expensive than any of the other forwards. You've got to find 5 million guys to go up from Watkins. So look, that's how you could do it. There's other ways. You could actually sell João Pedro and Palmer. But you'd have to go to like a Josh King, 4.5 million and a Haaland. That could work. I've got 0.5 in the bank, so that move works. As things stand, this is my bus team. I've got a bit of a benching dilemma. If you own Pedro Porro, you do not want to be benching him next weekend. Pedro Porro will play as a right wing back in a back five. Pedro Porro could get DEFCON. He could be marking Doku. He could be very busy. Against Bayern Munich in a pre-season friendly the other day, 10 days ago, Pedro Porro played very well and picked up DEFCON because they didn't have the ball. They were defending all game, and they won't have the ball much versus City. They'll defend all game, and he could pick up DEFCON. He could get an attack and return, and they could score a set-piece goal with an assist from Porro. But am I really going to bench Porro for the DEFCON magnet of Murillo? For Munoz, absolutely not. And Esteve, I just quite fancy that being like a 0-0. Sunderland-Burnley. Late decision there on Porro. As things stand, he's first bench. And again, Dubravka bench. Look, if Mark Guiu got minutes, I'd bench boost this team. Williams, Dubravka's got a good fixture, but Mark Guiu's not going to get the minutes. Both Sunderland strikers scored goals. He's third in line at the moment, and they only play the front one. Mayenda, Isidore scored. Mike Goo's perfectly fine pick to have. He's an enabler. He's 4.5 million. It's what it is, right? It's bench fodder. That's where I'm at. I could go Ait Nouri. I've got 0.5 in the bank, remember. I don't see it happening. I could go Dewsbury to Elliot Anderson. That's an option. I've got triple. I've got the triple up. I've got double Forest. I could get to 3. So that's where I'm at with my team and early thoughts. We've spoken captaincy. We've spoken how you might get Haaland in. I come back to it again. We have to see that fixture ticker and have a plan for Erling Haaland. Game week 6 is the window. If you can get him before, great. Game week 6 feels like the must-have window. Can you drop Salah around that time? Don't think you want to be. Don't think you want to be. It might just be how can you get both in your team. Guys, thank you for watching. We'll have videos all week. Hit the notification bell with the subscribe button. Hit the like, and we'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.